Testing, testing. Let's drop this. Oh, shit. Let's drop this a bit to about, I say 35 here in OBS. Alright, so we are live. Wagwan everyone. Sandra Che here, back at it again. Happy New Year, or happy higher prices, as I keep jokingly telling everybody, essentially. Because it's true. Happy higher prices. But yeah, we are here. Boruto 2 Blue Vortex manga chapter 30. Of course, it's on everybody else that I'm subscribed to. I see, as per usual, the chapter would have been out for the last 2 days, basically, and persons have basically already done their review. But here I am, you know, first video slash stream of the year. Shout out to everyone that's going to be joining, passing through. Hope you had an awesome New Year's Day, watched some fireworks, ate some food. We know how it is already. So yeah, I am hoping that the audio and everything is essentially looking alright. I would hope so. Okay, bada bing, bada boom. Alright, I think we should be good to go. Oh shit. Alright, so I guess without further ado, let us get into it. Alright, well, obviously I would have seen the cover already based on how my thumbnail is, so I guess it's whatever. It's Mamushi, his whole fission technique and all of that. Chapter 30, all them nuances, or nuisances rather. Yeah. Alright, here we go. So we do have Chocho. Chocho way beyond Madara, confirmed, right? I suppose. 1 second, guys. One second. Alright, so yeah. So Chocho beyond Madara, apparently. Anyway, alright. Nice work, Chocho. Easy peasy. And they get back up. They're still, of course, that makes sense. Move aside. And alright, Himawari with a tail beast bomb. That might be a bit much though for the right here. Whoa, wait, not inside the village, stupid. Ugh. Ooh. Not gonna lie. Shikadai with these new generation like shadow possession skills. Not gonna lie, them actually look pretty cool. Shadow cage. Chocho, throw him as high up as you can. Alright, bada bing, bada boom. And tail beast bomb. Like, him already want to wipe out the village, bro. That's actually crazy that she was going to fire it there. I guess it's due to her lack of experience. Alright. Phew! That was too close. I'm so sorry. Sorry is not good enough. We're not always gonna be around to support you. And there's no taking back something like that. Still more of them. Damn it. Just how many are out there? Alright, back in the hidden Boruto cave. Caution Koji and Inojin. It's no use, Lord 8. No matter how many we take down, more pop up. They just keep multiplying. I said I'm going to interview the Hokage. It's his turn. Summon him here now. But, excuse me, Lord Kobu. We just received reports of enemy attacks within the village. What? By divine trees. Plus, Boruto has been spotted as well. We take pride in the high level of our security here, but I can't totally guarantee your safety. There is a strong possibility that danger could befall you. It would be wise to pause the inquiry and head to a secure area, just in case. How serious is the threat exactly, and what do they seek? We're still investigating, but when it comes to divine trees, the threat level is incalculable. Incalculable. Wow. I see. Very well. We'll proceed with the inquiry. Right here, right now, all to see him. Yo, this man's like, yo, dog, I don't really care if it's Madara, Pin, Shibai. I don't care who's out there. Let me get my inquiry in. Anyway, well, we'll proceed with the inquiry right here, right now. To evacuate would be premature. Lord Kobu. End of discussion. Send for the Hokage. Now. This man's crazy, bro. I say, what? Huh? The heck are they? There's already over 100 of them. I can't keep count. Delta here. Delta, you see anything? Yep. Tons of them. This man, I'm like, they're lining up for a new game release or something. This is Sarada. I'm in Sector B, North. Mamushi spotted. Going in. Hold up, Sarada. Other examination squads too. Everyone, listen up. I was hoping to eradicate the Mamushi while they were few in number, but I guess I was being overly optimistic. They have now multiplied into vast numbers and scattered over a wide area. It's safe to say that the battle has progressed to the next phase. Then what? Don't panic. This is still within expectation. We're switching tactics. Luckily, there have been no reports of civilian injuries yet. All actual damage is limited to minor property damage. As per prior intel, their interest in those other than their intended target seems low, and this likely will remain the case unless we provoke them. Thus, sensory unit here. Lord 8, a message from Lord Kobu. Make your way to the interrogation room ASAP. Damn it, now of all times. Sorry, but I'm in the middle of something. Can't we do this later? Lord Hokage, rather, Nara Shikamaru. Lord Kobu? And Kashin Koji keeping quiet. Need I remind you that I am here as a proxy of the Land of Fire's daimyo, and thus my orders represent the will of the daimyo himself. Now, don't keep me waiting any longer. Show yourself at once. With all due respect, Lord Kobu, we're in the middle of an emergency. The village is under attack from the enemy. Do you still not understand? I'm saying that this takes priority. Bro, why is this man yo, this is like the cliche character in like a show or a series where it's like, he's just overbearingly stupid, bro. Like, come on. Like, yo, anyway. Do you intend to defy the daimyo's orders? I would think that that would be a far greater blow to the village. Lord 8, is something the matter? Is that Chamberlain of the daimyo. He's trying to interrogate Shikamaru. Lord 8, I've cleared Sector D southwest. I'll rendezvous with Team 10 in the east. Hello? Yeah, sorry, I'm listening. Rendezvous, then stand by for further instruction. Are you alright? Oh, okay, finally we get to see some Konoha Shinobi get Boruto, or attempt to get him. Yeah, nice, we got him. Konoha police here, we've captured the traitor. Boruto in Sector D southwest. Hey, are these divine trees? Disarming him. Oh, and there we go. What the? I feel weak. Alright. Flying Thunder God. You've got some skills. Some free advice. If you see a divine tree, run away. It'd be a waste to lose you. Once, alright, cool. Get some praise from Boruto, which means a lot right now. It's crazy. I'm glad we got to actually see the sword taking effect. I was kind of hoping we get to see it in battle, like again, somebody that's on our side, but whatever. Tomatoes, tomatoes. Damn it, the bastard. This is so odd, bro. Like, I keep joking month upon month, like, I'll be so done with Konoha, bro. I like come outside on a random Wednesday, I'm like, oh shit, what's happening now? Sarada, What's the situation? They're roaming about looking for Ada, but as you said, sorry, no signs of engaging in random acts of destruction. Good. Keep up your surveillance. Report in right away if there's any change. Inojin, I'm heading to the interrogation room. I need to deal with Lord Kobu. What? This means I won't be able to verify the mind transmission formation map for the next while. But then, what about the app? Yeah, I know. You could continuously relay all your locations to me verbally, or take over the command yourself. That's ridiculous. As we speak, a number of Mamushi are drawing near the Hokage offices too. Maybe Lord Koba will reconsider once he understands the situation. Though I don't see him backing off that easily. Shikamaru, hide this toad familiar somewhere on your person. You have some plan? Well, something like that. Inojin, release the mind transmission formation for now. Huh? But then no one will be able to communicate with each other. It can't be helped. We need to get past this first, by using a different jutsu. Okay, interesting. A different jutsu? Finally, you've kept me waiting, Shikamaru. As I told you already, we're in a state of emergency. Can we do this quickly? I'd like to get back to work. That's all up to you, and depending on what transpires next, work will be the least of your concerns, Lord Hokage. To be honest, I've had my suspicions from the get-go that you are harboring and aiding Boruto. That's ludicrous. On what basis? Quit the pretense. My intuition tends to be spot on, and evidence should come to light soon enough. How about this, Shikamaru? Acknowledge your crimes, and I could go light on the punishment against you. So, shall we get this over with, like you wish? Do it. Mind transfer jutsu. Wait, hold on. You can... Wait, hold on. Okay. Lord Kobu. Lord Kobu, what is the matter? Oh, Lord Kobu, are you alright? What? Oh wow, yeah, Inojin transferred into... Dad? Oh crap. I mean, darn, my darn hair is so dry. It's a mind transfer jutsu. Inojin's gone and taken over Kobu's mind. Okay. Get outside. Huh? This interrogation has exhausted me. Let's take a break. I need some fresh air. Huh? Oh, I don't need an escort. Too stifling. Defeats the purpose of the break. But Lord Kobu, you wait here. That's an order. I'll be right back. What the heck? This is crazy. So what's next? Go up to the roof. I don't know what you're planning, but isn't this risky? There are Mamushi approaching. What if something happens to this guy? Huh? Oh, no. You're kidding, right? Killing Kobu? No! Koji, what? What the? Sorry, Sai, but I'm leaving. I have work to do. Wait, Shikamaru, explain it to me. What are you making Inojin do? I'm still in shock, but once I saw his eyes, I knew that Inojin's mind transfer jutsu. That's Inojin's mind transfer jutsu. Tell me, Shikamaru, what the heck's going on? You could jump off, make it like he was attacked by Mamushi and panicked, or any other method. Hold on, you're kidding, right? Look, I'm not going to debate ethics with you here. Think rationally. Kobu's our enemy and a hindrance. Okay, well, I mean, Kobu's annoying, Koji, but let's be real, bro. I wouldn't say he's an enemy. Like, there's no group transmission right now. Only you and I are in this conversation. There will be no evidence. This is crazy. Have you lost your mind? Hey, you there. Do you know a woman named Ada? Okay. What the heck, man? Do you wanna die? There, how's that? And we end the chapter with that. Yo, this is crazy, bro, to be honest. But I would say it's pretty much what should have been expected. With Koji kinda, I guess, having information that he can't like necessarily tell the others, else it'll kind of kill the advantage. And at some point you kind of expect characters to be in conflict with that, which we've already seen with Boruto in the previous arc. But I think this is like probably taking it too far. I don't even think this is even tied with the prescience, like him seeing the future. I just think he's trying to do his duty here as a full-fledged shinobi, Koji that is. But I think this is going way too far. But I think it's a good thing because it puts him directly in conflict with a lot of the other characters, and well, in this case, Inojin. So it's going to be interesting to see how this actually like pans out, you know. I did say like during the course of the previous arc when it comes on to Konohamaru's generation and like down compared to say like a Zabuza generation and up, like the culture is like vastly different when it comes on to how they operate as shinobi. Just if nothing else, even on the premise of just things being bloodlusted, like just the level of cruelty compared to Zabuza's generation to say Konohamaru's generation and beyond, right? So a situation like this is always going to cause an issue. And we kind of saw more of what I'm saying in the previous arc between, like, say, Konohamaru and Matsuri in terms of Konohamaru trying to exploit Matsuri, you know? So this is going to be a big point of conflict here at the end of the day. So I'm curious how it's going to pan out. I'm wondering if Boruto himself will, try to go back to the base for a little bit to kind of find out what's happening. And if things between Koji and the group is going to, kind of fall out. I think it's a good move. And if anything happens to Kobu, or if anything doesn't happen to Kobu, it's going to be interesting to see how things are going to progress with the feudal lord and his whole chamberlain or chaperone here, in terms of the future of the village, because of course we're in the Boruto era, and really and truly the big purpose or big role of shinobi in the modern era they aren't as needed as back in the day. So I'm curious how that's going to affect things going forward. Of course, that's been like the whole theme when it comes down to the whole Boruto era, I would say. Well, one of the themes. But like ever since Kobu has been here, that's the whole tension. That's the whole like thing you would expect to happen in terms of conflict between like the office of the feudal lord and the village, right? So it's going to be interesting to see how that's going to go in the grand scheme of things. Other than that, as per usual, I think this is a solid chapter, solid start to the year. My usual scripts in terms of how to, review the chapter, it's solid. If we were to even start back from the front, I am extremely glad again that Chocho's move didn't really do much, if anything at all, to the Mamushis here. And we still had to depend on Himawari to finish them off. Even though we still had like a tag team effort between her, Chocho and Shikadai. Based on their experience compared to Himawari. They have experience in the field, so I thought that was pretty good in the grand scheme of things. Where again, power-wise or power scaling-wise, it makes sense for Himawari to be the one to be able to beat them. But with the experience of the other characters and the utility and what's at stake in the village with Himawari's overwhelming power, it still gave room for Chocho and Shikadai to be useful in the chapter, even though it wasn't really much panel time or screen time in this chapter for them. But I like how it is set up. I think Ikimoto and I guess Kishimoto do I just say Ikimoto at this point? Because recent interviews Kishimoto was like, yo, this is Ikimoto's story. But the point is, I've said, like, if you're not careful, there's a fine line between, for the power scaling, that is, there's a fine line between how things are portrayed now and get into some weird anime levels of Dragon Ball Super weird power scaling, right? And I think Ikemoto is has kind of treaded that line before, but I like what he's doing here to kind of keep things balanced. Having the characters have utility, kind of showing the experience between, Shikadai and Chocho and Himawari. So I like it. They were still useful. They're still relevant. It still feels dynamic. So I like that. It didn't break my immersion in the story. So from a power scaling standpoint, and all things considered, with the characters being in character with their experiences relative to each other, I thought this was a perfect start to the chapter. Awesome start. So definitely a plus to the chapter in the grand scheme of things. Now, in terms of the whole political aspect now with Kobu and the office of the feudal lord, right? With how Kobu is moving so like adamant, like, yo fam, I don't really care what's happening outside. Like, I need to like get to the bottom of what's going on. And I did make the comment earlier, like he's moving like hard-headed, like, yo fam, we have a threat outside. But well, until I'm proven wrong, I would imagine the office of the feudal lord probably had, not even probably, but definitely had like a very healthy like relationship when it came on to Naruto being in power. So I wouldn't be surprised if the feudal lord was like, yo Kobu, I don't care what's happening, you need to get to the bottom of this with this whole Boruto traitor and what's going on in the village. So I think that might be the context for why Kobu is just so hard-headed on this. But I would love to get more flashbacks, more details on, not like a full like Kobu backstory or anything like that, but just something to kind of anchor down why this man is just, yo, I need to get to the bottom of this. I don't even care if divine trees are like attacking the village, fam. So there's that. But the tension is definitely there for all of us to see when it comes on to, Kobu, Mitsuki, Konohamaru, Shikamaru, and just again seeing how the characters are navigating, defending the village, fighting off the divine trees, and their internal politics and conflicts. It is very engaging to see. So there's that. Now, at the end of the day, outside of that, I do like that a lot of most characters in the Strike Squad, it got at least a panel in this chapter. Of course, Boruto, there's a whole saying of show don't tell, but I'm glad when it came on to even Boruto in this chapter, there is the show and tell from what was built up, or what we've been told in previous chapters regarding his sword, regarding the fact that other characters should be trying to capture Boruto. So I'm glad they actually showed that. I hope we get more of that, and I'm hoping like because of that something goes wrong or something, something along the lines of that, because again, it makes it feel, should I say real, or is that like a cliche thing to say at this point? But it makes it feel believable, real, immersive, I guess. It's kind of like the point I usually say from month to month, where it doesn't make sense to me why a lot of the legacy characters aren't being shown, right? With your Kakashi, your Lee, your Tenten, no matter what kind of jokes you want to make about some of the legacy characters, it makes no sense I don't see them like in the manga, right? I feel like I have to turn my brain off to say, okay, yeah, these characters don't exist or something like that. So the fact that we have what they say should happen, where Boruto is a traitor, everybody should be looking at him like, oh, yo, it's him, the one that killed the 7th Hokage. It makes it more believable to say, yo, there should be characters jumping him, right? So I like that. I like that. And of course, the whole aspect with the sword draining people's chakra. I'm wondering if this character is going to have any relevance later. The fact that Boruto say, yo, bro, like, you have some skills now, bro. We can't lose you. Maybe just stay alive. You see me? So I'm wondering if like this random Konoha Shinobi would be like an interesting representative for like the random Konoha Shinobi we always see. It would be interesting to kind of start incorporating like a character like that. Maybe. So there's that. No, of course, coming down to the end of the chapter, the whole plan by Kashin Koji, having Inajin mind transfer into Kobu here, and yo, we're just going to kill him. That's crazy to me because, again, I don't think he's doing this plan from the perspective of prescience, like having that future. I mean, maybe, but it doesn't seem so. It seems more along the lines of, yo, we're Shinobi. Well, I'm a Shinobi. I'm trying to save the world. This is what we have to do. If I have to kill this guy, whatever. So that's crazy to me. So I'm wondering if Kashin Koji is going to set things up, which he seems like he's already doing here with the Mamushis at the end, to, you know, probably have them probably, you know, kill kill Kobu, which is insane. Because if Kobu does die, it kind of sets up even more more tension and more conflict with the office of the feudal lord. So that's going to be interesting to see how that's going to play out at the end of the day. And if that does happen, if Kobu does die, it does come down to one of the theories I have. If the feudal lord has like a different force outside of like Konoha in its entirety that he can call upon, which would be more more chaos at the end of the day. So I don't know, man. I don't know. But right now, the way things are set up, I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, Boruto comes back. Inojin says, yo, Boruto, this guy is doing too much. But to be honest, I still, even no matter how this plays out, I still think like we'll probably need one more push for the whole Kashin Koji Boruto alliance to fall apart. So yeah. But all in all, as I said, I think I thought this was a solid way to start the year. It's just more, you know, continuing off the momentum that we had from 2025. So yeah, I am interested to see how this is going to play out. So yeah, between the political tensions, the potential setup with the conflict with the office of the feudal lord, Kashin Koji and Inojin and potentially Boruto, you know, falling out, like there's more setup for that. A lot of, you know, show and tell when it comes on to things that we've been told from previous chapters, as well as, you know, the power scaling being kept in check. You know, we haven't crossed over that line yet, so I like it a lot. So yeah, I don't know. Of course, you guys can let me know what you thought about chapter 30, the first chapter of the year. So yeah, pretty much just that. And of course, thinking about it, if anything happens to Kobu, if Shikamaru gets put out, what happens then when it comes on to the administration? Do we start dismantling the whole, oh, we don't necessarily need the village operating at the same scale as before? Does, you know, like how a military would probably take over like a government? I'm wondering if it'll be a case where, I don't know, the office of the feudal lord starts running the village instead of having a Hokage, so to speak. That would be interesting as well. That would be a nice setup for having a shinobi being in conflict with whatever, I guess, fighting force that the feudal lord could potentially bring in. I don't know, I'm just foreseeing something like that happening when it comes down to the office of the, you know, the OFL, the office of the feudal lord, just bringing in like a separate faction, heavily run, heavily funded when it comes on to the use of scientific ninja weapons. I could see that potentially happening. So there's that. And I did like the fact that Shikadai didn't really spare Himawari's feelings. Even though she's powerful, I did like that, you know, it shows that she has a ways to go when it comes on to combat experience and taking into consideration a lot of things when it comes on to the battlefield, right? So good stuff. So yeah, anyway, you guys can definitely leave a like, subscribe. We are back here in 2026 when it comes on to the content. So yeah, was kind of considering talking about my expectations for Boruto and Naruto 2026 in the stream here, but I think I'll do that in a separate video, so look out for that one. But yeah, happy new year to you guys again. Happy higher prices, cause you don't know. $10,000 for a pound of chicken, you know how it goes. So yeah, but anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed my little reaction review here and my, I guess, quote unquote critical thoughts on chapter 30 of Boruto 2 Blue Vortex. So yeah, Sandra Chia, leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video and stream.